It is exciting to see. Zane, have you been following what's going on? We got breaking news. We got interesting events. We got the world on fire. No longer are we thinking about Ukraine. Ukraine's old news. We're done with Ukraine. Do what we're on right now.
Israel.
Israel. We gotta fund
Palestine.
Israel. We gotta send them so much money. See, I am tired of sending money to Ukraine when we should be sending more money to Israel. See, who's gonna be using the missiles, the bombs, if it's not Israel? Ukraine? We've been there, done that. It's time to start funding a new war.
It is, man. You know, we're sick of Ukraine. Ukraine's like so 2021. You know that war. Get rid of that. Let's start sending money to Israel because you know they've done so much great things for America. You know,
they have.
We stand with the chosen land. We stand with Palestine and Hamas. You know, we love these guys.
We stand for everyone here. You know.
We try. Well, we got a special guest with us today. It's perfect timing because you know with everything going on, we feel like he's a good fit. He might have some interesting takes on the situation with Palestine and Israel today. So we're going to get into the show. This is literally going to be the whole conversation today, is Israel, Palestine, what we think, what our place is in this geopolitical stance for America. Should we be dealing with these people? Should we be, should our money and our taxpayer dollars be going to Israel? Should they? I mean, obviously they shouldn't be going to Ukraine. We've been sick of that, and we talk about that all the damn time. But we're going to talk about Israel and Palestine today and cover a little bit of the news. I mean, if you've been under a rock and you don't know what's going on, stay tuned because this is what is going to be going down on today's show. So thanks for joining us. We're here on this transmission today. It's Saturday, October 7th, 46 episodes deep. Just trying to give the Base Boys message out today. So let's get into the show today, guys.
Hit it.
All right, Micah. Well, have you ever been to Israel?
I have not.
You've never been to Israel?
I have not. I've been someplace even better than Israel. America.
America, seriously. You know, I'm an American. I stand with America. I stand with God and with Jesus. I am so sick of tyrannical governments and higher hierarchies or powerful hierarchies taking advantage of people and using them as pawns in this whole massive profitable war system that we see. I'm sick of it.
Yeah.
I literally, I don't know if we can live in a world where this doesn't exist, but I want to move forward and continue to strive towards a world that does not. I mean, can we live in a world where we don't have warmongers taking advantage of us?
Well, the powers that be don't think so. The powers that be think that we are stupid sheep that need to be controlled, and I don't think that they will ever let us be because they don't believe that we should be able to freely govern ourselves. They don't believe in the rights of the people because they don't even believe that we're people. They see us as chattel. They see us as their property. They see us as expendable. So it's the same thing with the military, is when you sign up for the military, you're no longer a person. You're a casualty. You're a boot on the ground. Boots on the ground. You're no longer a person when the... What word do I want to use? The powers that be, the government, the powerful entities use the common man. They don't see you as an individual. You see you as their property.
Absolutely. Well, we got a special guest with us today, Micah.
I'm excited.
Yeah, this is his first time on the show. We've been trying to get him on the show for a while. Man, let's go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience.
Well, hello. My name is Caleb Capley, and I'm excited to be on the show. Thank you, Zane. Thank you, Micah, for having me on.
Awesome, man. Well, what should the audience know about Caleb? What's your background, and what do you strive to be in life? I mean, are you trying to be a trans woman of color? I mean, that's what we're striving for over here.
Well, that was one of the phases before we arrived at at the final thing. I do marketing, but the real thing is music. I just pay or work get the money, and then do music on the side. And so expect an album to drop at some point. It's the first one's like piano and string stuff, and it's like, if you're watching this, you're probably like assuming, oh frick, this probably sucks because this is a random guy I don't know about. But just think about that Kanye arc, and so tune in.
Or that's okay because we're random guys and most people don't know about either. But
I was about to say a different artist's arc.
Different artist?
Yeah, different artist.
Well, do you have a plug? Do you have a channel, a subscription, anything that anybody's listening to can subscribe to?
Oh yeah. So just out of curiosity, because you're probably assuming it sucks, and that's fun. I like that. So go to Instagram, follow at I am Caleb Kepley, and then just wait for the music to come out and see if it sucks or it doesn't. So
hang on, you're gonna have to repeat that like 3 different times.
No. The album's not even out.
Oh no, I'm saying like repeat your channel like 3 different times so people get it.
No, you got to do it like 5 different times. You guys are gonna ask me like a clear question, and I'm just gonna respond with the name of my Instagram handle.
Well, we're getting into it today, man. So have you guys seen this footage? The bombing footage?
I've been watching it.
Innocent women and children being bombed all day. And I love how people are taking sides. I mean, you have takes from some people on Twitter that are just anti-Zionist. You have people that are pro-Israel. I mean, all of our elected officials in this state of Oklahoma, the great state of Oklahoma, we've got James Langford, you've got Kevin Stitt, Mark Wayne Mullen, all saying they stand with Israel. You've got most politicians saying that they stand with Israel.
I would expect the certain politicians to fall exactly where you'd think they would. All the Christian evangelical people are falling in line with Israel, and all of the squad is probably standing up for Palestine right now. And so I feel like lines are being drawn right now for this conflict right now, because I was on Twitter just like a couple minutes ago, and I click on Israel, it's trending, it's all pro-Israel, and I click on Palestine, it's all pro-Palestine. You're like, oh, these are the usual suspects who all have their opinion on what's going on. And here's the problem that I have, is we're about 24 hours, maybe less, maybe 16 hours into this conflict, and it's still too difficult to decipher what's truly going on.
It's not a simple thing to understand. I mean, it really is a complex situation with multiple variables.
Yeah, and so one of the things I'd love to ask you, Caleb, is what is your take on this? Do you think Israel has been, I don't know, unprovokedly attacked and the Palestinians are to blame? Or do you think, I hate to say it, but do you think they had it coming?
Well, it's funny what Zane says about people like deciding super early and something like that, because you'll come across these people who are like, oh yes, I've got it figured out on Palestine versus Israel. I've read like a third of a Vox article, and I'm gonna be able to boil down this like multiple 1,000-year conflict down into one take. The more entertaining take to me is just that Israel deserves it, because that's kind of funny. Because I was such a simp for Ben Shapiro for years. So now my political analysis is basically, what does Ben Shapiro say, and then what is the opposite of that, and you'll probably land somewhere at least interesting. But I don't know. I mean, I couldn't say. I mean, it's hard to side against Israel right now when they're the ones being attacked, just on like a pure empathy level. So I don't know. I want to know what you guys think.
Well, the whole narrative is that it's an unexpected attack. I mean, you look at every local news outlet, mainstream legacy media outlet, they say it's an unexpected attack. But is it really? I mean, if we look back, most wars are implemented for a certain reason. It's for profit. War is a machine that brings profit to the globalists, to the elites, and the people in power, whether you're in D.C. or whether you're running some NGO nonprofit organization that just profits off these types of things. It doesn't seem like it's unexpected attack. I mean, I don't really know much about Hamas, but that really is the biggest thing for people to understand is I don't think you can have one just conclusion on this entire thing. I mean, you said it's a 1,000-year conflict. I mean, who really knows? But I think the biggest thing to understand for most people is what we see from corrupt hierarchies of government. It's always the problem. They're always the leading cause for the problems for most people. And I mean, that's one of the things that we try to do on Base Boys is to help people get inspired to make change politically through their local, state, and federal government to eradicate.
Basically funding every single country in the world, but we're not protecting our own border. What's the resolution to that?
Well, okay. So first, to narrow it down to just Israel, I think that the Christian evangelical America has to figure out what they actually think about Israel, and they have to have an actual theological defense for why they love Israel so much, or if they should be obsessed with the nation of Israel. So and I want you guys to take on this, because I don't have like apocalyptic scripture like down. Okay, there's a lot of ways to interpret that, but a lot of Christians are obsessed with Israel. They see what happened in 1948 or whenever Israel, I don't remember when they became a nation again, when they all came back together. They see that as the fulfillment of Old Testament prophecy. But if you look in Acts chapter 2, when the Holy Spirit comes down and all the Jews from all outside of Jerusalem are all gathered in Jerusalem, and so it's all these different people coming back to Jerusalem, and then they hear people speaking their own tongues. Peter gets up and says a lot of things, but one of the things he says is, this day, this scripture is fulfilled in front of you. This same scripture that everyone is claiming was fulfilled in 1948 or whatever. And so it's like, so either you think that scripture is fulfilled twice, that prophecy is like a double prophecy, which that doesn't really make a lot of sense to me, or you disagree with Peter. Anyway, what I'm getting at is, I wonder if the evangelical America's obsession with Israel is misplaced. Do you guys have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I do. I've so many different thoughts on that, because I am of the same persuasion. Most of Revelation, I believe, has already been fulfilled. Because what happened in, I believe it was 60 AD for Israel. Israel was completely destroyed. Their temple was destroyed. They sacrificed pigs on the altar. Rome completely decimated them. And so much of the imagery and the iconography of... Actually, no, it was 79.
Pigs on the altar, bro?
Pigs on the altar. Yeah, that was all in Revelation.
That would definitely match the desecration or the desolation of abomination. Or I can't remember.
Yeah, it's all in Revelations.
Yeah.
All that stuff has already happened. And so people, when they say, oh, no, it has not happened, because all the rabbis say, oh, it hasn't happened. The reason why they say that, a lot of the chosen people and a lot of the different imagery and the belief systems that people kind of put onto it isn't the fact that Jesus has came. So if you take Jesus out of the picture, you could probably say that some of this is actually going to be happening in the future. But with Jesus in the picture, the prophecies that happened, and then the continuation into when Rome completely sacked Israel, all the prophecies had been fulfilled already. And so one of the things I always think about, Zane and I discuss this every now and then, a lot of times people who don't believe in the Bible, well, maybe they do believe in the Bible, like someone who's that one spirit cooker who's now in Ukraine?
Marina Abramovich. She is now the public ambassador for public schools for Zelensky, which is great because she loves spirit cooking. She's a witch.
Yeah. So she would believe in a lot of the biblical prophecies. So aren't they trying to do the same thing? Like, you've probably heard the conspiracy theories about they're trying to open something up underneath CERN, and all these people are doing spiritual activities in order to summon whatever. You've heard all that, or like they believe in the prophecies more than we do. And so maybe they're trying to supplant and try to bring about something else completely different than what actually the Bible was talking about.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it's just hard, because I think the logic basically goes, oh, we like Old Testament, and so we're totally okay with giving any amount of money to Israel.
Okay, so if we continue with that that thought, why do we send so much money to Israel? Is it the evangelicals?
Well, I think that's why it's so easy to persuade them. My dad is super, super smart, and he's super red-pilled about a lot of things. But on the topic of Israel, his eyes kind of glaze over, and it's just kind of this thing where, it's very difficult to bring up anything negative about Israel, because I think Christians just have such a positive association with Israel because they do love the Bible. Like, You can make fun of evangelicals all day, but they do love the Bible. They might not have like a firm understanding or a concrete, like I'm not Catholic, but you have to admire the fact that they do have, as far as I understand, like an actual organized, like here's our take on this.
Yeah.
So anyway, whereas evangelicals, it's kind of a disaster in terms of how many different places we land on things. So.
Well, the dying question is, did the Jews do 9/11?
Okay, I actually have no idea. So I want to hear what you guys think about that. All I know is that we arrested a bunch of Mossad agents like that day, and then you never heard about that again. So I don't know.
Micah, can you feed off this point? Because I honestly don't think I'm well equipped enough to speak on this. But I follow some a variety of different people that bring up some great information regarding the whole Zionist. The JQ, as Nick Fuentes would say. Is that what he says?
There goes my political career.
Yeah, seriously.
Now I can't work at the Daily Wire. Dang it.
Dang.
Ben Shapiro, forgive me.
The funny thing is it's Shabbat right now, so Ben Shapiro has no idea what's going on right now because he's completely disconnected, and you basically just sit there. Like, that's basically what Shabbat is. You just sit there in boredom. But so he has no idea what's going on, so he'll probably find out in like a day or whenever Shabbat ends. Tangent there, but
6 o'clock tomorrow night.
We see the massive rise in ADL's attempt to go after anti-Semitism and to move that. But where's the movement towards anti-Christianity, anti-Muslim? I mean, it's like they just solely focus on that issue. It's like they're protecting something. I mean, what do you guys think? What do you think, Micah? Anybody?
I don't know what they're necessarily protecting, because sometimes if you look into the that question, you can see a lot more things you can see a lot of things, and I don't know if it's necessarily all connected. But I know that Israel is not the innocent country that we all kind of hold it as. Like, for example, we all know that Ghislaine Maxwell was a Mossad agent, right? Like, that's not conspiracy anymore. That's like everyone knows that she was working for Mossad. And then you kind of look at all the things that Israel has done to Palestine. You go like, okay, Palestine's done a lot of bad things, but Israel retaliates just as hard back. And you kind of go like, well, Israel in the media. I'm not like for Israel. I'm not for Palestine. I'm not for either one of these because it's America. Like, I'm an American. I do not want to be sending money to Israel. But when we kind of zoom out, we can see Israel in 1999, I believe it was, played pornography on every single TV, every single radio, and dropped pornography pamphlets into Muslim neighborhoods in Palestine. You can pull it up. Like, you can just look up Israel playing porn propaganda to
Sounds like
Palestine.
Hollywood.
But like, you have all these different things where Israel is attacking them in so many different ways, but at the same time, you can kind of almost look at it and go, hey, who is in the right and who's in the wrong? So I'd love to get your take on that. What do you think?
Well, what's weird about Israel is that it's a nation just like every other nation. It's acting in its own interest in often aggressive ways, probably just like any other nation that has any amount of power. But what makes Israel particularly interesting is the fact that everyone in America loves Israel, or not everyone, but like most everybody. And so it's not like if you point out something that Iran does or that Palestine does or that Russia does that's kind of like aggressive or like spy-ish or just like, just not morally right at all, people just like, yeah, okay. But if you point that out about Israel, there's this immediate defense. And so it gives it a tinge of conspiracy, even though this is what nations do. So I don't know. Would you argue that it's worse in Israel's case, that there's more of a conspiracy element to it? Or is it just that people like Israel so much so it feels like a conspiracy to point anything out about them?
That is a really good question, because my whole thought on Israel is looking at it through the lens of If you take it out of the religious lens, it is a country that has to run a certain way. They have problems with their own parliament because a lot of Palestinians are in their parliament. You've got Benjamin Netanyahu, who has a certain thing. Did you guys see? It was like 6 months ago. You can pull up the story on this as well. That Benjamin Netanyahu actually had to stop after the whole world had a huge outcry because they were about to ban Christianity in Israel. And so then there was another really big thing that went on where Christians currently are being attacked. Christians are currently being attacked in Israel. And so oftentimes when you see... We have a term here that we like to use. Conservative. We talk about that quite a bit because Mitch McConnell, who else?
Shapiro,
Kevin McCarthy, anybody in DC
they
now.
all allow America to be bent over and allow other countries to have their way with us.
But I think they're just protecting our freedom. You
Yes.
know? Like, I had to explain to my... Are you guys familiar with Lord of the Rings?
Briefly,
yeah.
Yeah, well, the Uruk-hai are these, like, orc-like creatures that work for Saruman. And I had to, like, explain to my brother who's in the military. I was like, you're basically functionally a Uruk-hai. And he's just like, yeah. Like, it's pretty good to be in the military right now.
Yeah, that's my whole point was with like boots on the ground. Are we gonna send military aid as well? Are we gonna send some American soldiers? Did you guys see the Twitter exchange between Vivek Ramaswamy and Taiwan? We've got a military base in Germany, Japan, South Korea, Guam. What is it? 100 and something different military bases all over the world. Can we afford to be the world's police officer?
Well, we just keep printing money and we can.
That's true.
Yeah, like, well, golly, I recently watched this old debate with Christopher Hitchens where he was very young, and he was talking about how Churchill's like last speech. Churchill, well, let me back up a little bit, because pre-World War II, the United Kingdom is the empire, as far as I understand. And then World War II happens, and they're drained of their resources, they're drained of their money, they're drained of a lot of territory, they're drained of a lot of weaponry, they lose their armada, blah, 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 blah. And so now, in his speech after World War II, he basically tells the United States, like, we were the empire, now you're taking the torch over. And so that's what the United States has been since 1945 or whatever, is we've been the continuation of the British Empire. And so at least that's why, like, we've been, like, operating in this, like, oh yeah. So it's like, so the question becomes a whole lot bigger than, like, what are we doing right now? It's like, this is like a hundreds of year old thing that we're, like, continuing. So the question of, like, why is the United States doing it? It's like, I don't know. There's like, you'd have to pull it really far back to think about that. It's obviously not in our interest as the people, as the citizens of the United States. But I don't think that's like a question that's on the table. I don't think that that's like an actual concern for the people involved. So,
well, I think a lot of it's motivated by one thing and one thing only: pure profit. People want money. I mean, what do we say? The money. What does the Bible say? The love of money is the root of all evil. And that simply is so true, because that's what we see. I mean, that's what a lot of our decisions are driven by, is pure profit. You know, we don't have these people that are elites, these globalist, elite, warmongering people. They do not have moral code to help people and serve other people. What kind of signals are you putting up over there, Micah?
So
let's show the camera, huh?
So I like to quote one of my favorite philosophers, Jean-Claude Baudrillard. Right? I know, bougie. So he's the kind of the idea behind the simulation theory, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so my whole idea about the Middle East is kind of based on his work, because we do not know what's going on in Israel right now. It could actually not be happening.
Oh, that's such a weird thing to think about.
so he had a really famous paper where he said the Vietnam War did not happen.
Mm.
And
neither did the Holocaust. like the way our textbook said it happened. Wooden doors?
Interesting take. I still got a future in politics.
Now I can't even
Not
interview
anymore.
at the Daily Wire.
Exactly. The Daily Wire will have him anymore. But like he has this idea that like the Vietnam War didn't happen. The Gulf War did not. Then he had another page called the Gulf War will not happen. The Gulf War did not happen. The Gulf War never happened. Like so his whole idea was we do not actually know what these wars look like. What is our imagery of the Vietnam War?
Apocalypse Now.
Apocalypse Now, exactly.
Francis Ford Coppola.
Exactly.
Which he said, this movie's not about Vietnam. This movie is Vietnam at the premiere at Cannes. Anyway, I'm not saying that means Vietnam didn't happen, but
I
it's
100%
interesting.
agree with you, and that's the whole idea is, did the Vietnam War happen? What was the Gulf of Tonkin?
False flag.
A false flag. Gulf of Tonkin did not actually happen, and we went to Vietnam to go kill civilians because they attacked us first.
Defending our freedom.
We have to defend our freedom by attacking. So it's the same thing with what did Saddam Hussein do to us? He had weapons of mass destruction that were never actually found and never proved to be real.
Hey, Netanyahu said he did. So
and so that's the thing is, weapons of mass destruction. For the Gulf War, was that the incubator hoax as well, where they're saying there's incubators, we have to go there?
Oh, that was bad.
I see what you're getting at. Everything is built on a fake premise.
Exactly.
For profit.
Yellow cake. You remember that one as well? There's yellow cake. That's the stuff that they enrich uranium.
Do you guys remember the most recent one? COVID-19. I mean, the whole fake premise of that was built to the most massive transfer of wealth. I mean, everything is fake, it seems like.
Well, that one works really well for the Vietnam essay because if you think about it, if you didn't have a TV and if you didn't have an iPhone, if you didn't have the internet, you would not have known that there was a global pandemic.
Exactly.
You would literally not have known at all. There would be no way to know.
Best cure for COVID, turn your TV off.
Like my dad's a nurse. They have more patients like in the last 6 months span than during COVID. And a lot of that's because, those
the hokey pokey jab?
Well, there's just some immune systems that aren't doing so well a year later. I don't know what it could be, but.
What could that be? And so that's my whole idea behind this is I don't know what you guys think about this, but I've seen some really interesting videos of people live streaming in Ukraine, in Kiev, supposedly during the battle. And you kind of go like, this person's at a nightclub.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
Partying.
Like, there's some really weird stuff going on there. Like, I follow some people who go like, hey, this is Ukraine right now. There is no conflict. And you kind of go like, well, I thought that building was shelled. And do you guys remember seeing that one picture of that lady carrying that whole thing of concrete? And it was like, hey, if that concrete's real, then she's carrying in one hand like 100 pounds of just cement in one arm. She's like a small woman. And you're like, is it all staged so that we can send more money? Same thing with Israel. Is this whole thing staged so that they can get another $8 billion from Joe Biden and so that they can crack down harder on the Palestinians? Is this whole thing set up for the American people to go like, we do need to have boots on the ground in Israel and take out Israel's enemies like Syria? That's my question. Because you guys remember what happened after 9/11? Did 19 box cutter Arabs from what country? Saudi Arabia do it? No. So what's the actual story behind that? Why did we invade Afghanistan, Iraq? Why did we go to all these different countries in order to mess things up?
I don't know, but if you read Israeli political writing pre-2001, it's all talking about how Iraq needs to go. So, I don't know, but by the way, am I getting too close to this?
Yeah, I was actually going to tell you that. Yeah, you're a little crackly over there.
So
just a little bit.
Is this going to be better?
6 inches.
No, yeah,
This
6
will
inches.
be good. Okay, heck yeah.
Just like Micah.
I just really wanted to make my points. I was just really enthusiastic.
No,
about
you're
it.
good. You're good. Most people, spit into the mic too much, so it's all good.
Yeah, the podcast I've done before, it's one of those ones where you have to be like literally touching it for it to pick
Really?
it up. Yeah.
These are shitty mics. Base Boys has not built up enough funds to invest into super nice mics. We have nice mics over here.
No, it's because we're anti-technology. That's what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
So one thing I do want to say as well is I've started seeing a whole bunch of comments for the last couple episodes we've been doing. So if you guys want to leave a comment, I'm gonna read them out and kind of answer some of the different things. So I'm just leaving that out there. So if anyone wants to give a comment, they can. So back to what we were talking about before, is that's one of the reasons why I don't necessarily believe a lot of the things that are going on. You know what I mean? Where there's so much lies, there's so much propaganda, there's so much deception that goes on, and if you are questioning it, they jail you. If you shine a light on it, like Julian Assange, they jail you. They accuse you of being a rapist, like Julian Assange and Russell Brand. If you question the narrative, they have to destroy you. So, in your opinion, what do we do as Christian conservative men and women who want to see America thrive, who want to see America flourish, who want to go back to the way that America was before we allowed corruption to take over? How do we go back to the values that America once had?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is definitely the Amish are always right. So if you just went Amish mode, then you kind of solve a lot of your own problems. But does that solve problems for anybody else? And I don't know. There was a quote I heard recently where it was talking about it's like a lot of our problems come from the fact that we're trying to excise the evil from somebody else's heart rather than our own heart. And so I don't know. When you talk on, it's kind of like the environmentalists. The environmentalists have a problem so big that they can't do anything about it. So, of course, it's a scam. But
that's not true because they super glue themselves to the road.
I love those.
They solved it. Never mind, they solved it. Frank. They saved us from global warming. No, but you don't want to be the same thing but on the reverse. So if I make my goal, okay, I'm going to stop the globalists, it's like I'm just going to waste my life, I think. But if I make my goal, like I'm going to take care of my wife, I'm going to take care of my kid that's going to be born soon, I'm going to be good to my coworkers, I'm going to tell the truth as best as I can, even though, like Mike is pointing out, what the heck is even freaking the truth? So I think that's the first thing that comes to mind that might actually be productive, is to just be as honest and good to your own community as possible. So, but in terms of like actual politically expedient things, I'd want to hear what you guys have to say.
So focusing on the salvation of your own family is key, and that kind of touches into what we were talking about last night. So we had that guy that told us that he doesn't care about politics. He doesn't care about the world and corruption, because corruption is always going to exist, and regardless of what we do, what our daily lives entail, there's always going to be people that commit sin, and that are, I mean, we're sinful creatures. I mean, would you guys agree with that? Yeah. So, focusing on yourself, I really like what you say. Like, I mean, that's a good thing, but should we be focused on the problems of others? Or should we just be worried about ourselves? It's a fine line to skate along.
So let me pose the question to you in a very kind of almost simple way. So we all know that we need to protect our family, protect our all the ones around us. We need to share the gospel with our family, put them first. But at the same time, how do we resist against the evil that's coming after us? So, like, for example, in the future, we're planning on having kids. Like, I'm gonna have a family in the future. I'm a wife, kid. Although I'm gonna have the whole shebang. I don't want my kids to be propagandized. Yeah. So in the future, what are you gonna do to protect your future family? How are you gonna almost fight against the machine? Is it your mission? Is it almost your duty as a Christian man to defend those?
Then he works for the Daily Wire, where you're objectively not allowed to tell the truth, so it's kind of awkward to quote himself. Depending on the subject, of course.
I've been scrolling through Twitter recently, and there's some wild stuff. I'm watching the police wail on the Israeli police wail on a 12-year-old girl. Dang. There's some interesting stuff going on.
Well, what was she doing?
I don't know, but like one girl versus it's like 10 police officers all with batons just clubbing.
Those Palestinian girls go hard, bro.
And so it is one thing that I always go back to, because it is super difficult to watch, because I don't know who's right in this. I don't know who deserves the land. I don't know what the right decision is. Like supporting a side in this shouldn't be something that we do, because why would I get involved in someone else's 2,000-year feud between Muslim and Jew? Like, this is not my role. I am not Muslim. I am not Jewish. I don't live over there. I do not want to get involved even slightly. And that's my official stance on Israel and Palestine, is not my business. Like this is just like scrolling on Twitter. You're just watching people get murked left and right. Like, do you know who these people are?
I have no idea, but it's endless. You know, I find it interesting because, you know, within the matter of 24 hours, you see more of this content than we did with Ukraine. I mean, what did we see with the Ukraine war? Like, there was literally hardly nothing within the first, you know, several hours. It's so real that we live in the digital realm where we can see this. I mean, I feel like this has gone on for a long time, but yeah, it's pretty wild.
It was pretty crazy. But I think what you were saying earlier about, is this stuff even real? It's like, who knows? But it's like, there's kind of a utility to just assuming it's all not real. Cause like, I don't know. Like my wife's sister gets really stressed out about this stuff to the point of like it inhibiting her, like, you know, ability to just go through day-to-day life. And so she has to like try to consciously unplug, and it's like, man, like how much, I mean, I know I just got done saying like there is a lot of utility to knowing the truth on things, but yeah, I don't know, there might be a lot of utility to like talk about this for fun and for kicks, but then to just move on and just assume, oh, I don't even know if this is real. I don't know.
Well, we want to find truth through conversation. There's a great quote by Henry David Thoreau: "Rather than love, than money, than fame, give me truth." That's what we're seeking is truth. That's really all I care about. I mean, can we live in a world where we're not constantly deceived and constantly taken advantage of with our tax dollars?
And then John Lennon wrote a song called "Just Give Me Some Truth," and then look what happened to him. Not that he was the most based boy, but
yeah. So that's one of the things that we keep on fighting for here, and we're never going to stop fighting for, is the truth. Because the truth, as the Bible says, will set you free. And understanding that they're lying to us, understanding that they're trying to use propaganda to get us to believe something that isn't true, is actually enlightening, because no longer am I going to fall for the deception that they're trying to give to us. No longer am I going to have a Ukraine bio and wear a mask and take a jab and eat the bugs.
Implying that you did all of those things about 6 months ago.
So, Micah, you're telling me you didn't change your Instagram bio to a black square?
You know, sometimes you just I post like all black squares, you know?
Dude,
I still post them.
Me and my sister, just out of curiosity when that happened, we were like, I wonder if anybody like posted like a white square. And then it turns out there was a hashtag Whiteout Wednesday, and like a lot of people did it. I was like, who are these like hilarious, courageous people? Like at the time, my social circle was like TU people, so it's like it would have been just like absolute social suicide to do that. But no, people did it. It's probably Micah.
Probably was, yeah. No, I'm not gonna. I still have, like I said, I still got a political career I got to worry about. So
yeah.
It was not me that was posting the memes like under the knee. You guys
Do you
see that
have
one?
Political aspirations, Micah?
On the show I do.
Okay.
You know, it's now a thing that I get out of saying like, okay, like for example, what shape is the Earth?
Oh man, you know, it's a.
You see, since I have political aspirations, it is round.
But hey, you never know. In this like ever shifting Overton window, that might be the thing that holds you back.
That's true. But it also might not be. So I got all sides covered.
No. The year is 2046. Mike is running for president. As, the Earth is flat. The Earth is flat.
So
I've always thought that.
My property is worth $50 billion.
Base Boys Media is the best media. Don't trust the other news. It's all fake. For too long, the media has been lying to us.
That was good.
Yeah, he's been working on it. Well, we're about to close the show out tonight. We've had a great guest on to give his what we call base take. Caleb, Caleb with a B. Caleb. What do you have for us in closing? What should motivate the audience tonight?
Oh my gosh. So salvation is a free gift. You can do nothing to earn it. You can contribute nothing to your salvation. In fact, there are actually millions of Christians who, after watching this, would throw me under the bus for the various opinions and would say you are deserving of damnation, or is your salvation even confirmed? But I would argue that it is, because Christ accomplished it for you. You cannot add anything to that. Just believe in Jesus. So that is the based word of the day.
So here's the thing I'm going to be doing is, Caleb, I am now officially dubbing you as a based boy.
Oh yeah.
So you've now received the official endorsement. So if someone asks you saying like, hey, are you based? You're like, yeah, I got an official like endorsement from one of the OG bass boys.
This is one of the best days of my life.
So basically that's my message. Stay based. And so that's basically it. You are now based.
There we go.
I love it. Well, like Caleb said, put your faith in God and continue to move the American ideology forward. We like to consider ourselves constitutionalists. We want to save the republic and continue to create discourse that is going to motivate, and maybe, we want to go towards the younger audience, because that's really what our future relies on, is the younger people. A lot of them are so beholden to the corporate propaganda, massive democratic leftist propaganda that just sees, or that relies on the passion of man and does not put their faith in God anymore. And that's what we want to move forward to. So putting your faith in God and putting your faith in the American ideology is key to move our country forward. So Caleb, we want to thank you for having us on. Or Caleb, we want to thank Caleb, we want to thank you for being on our show today.
Thank you guys for having me on. You guys are this is good show. Like for you watching, like keep watching. This show is just gonna get better. But I am impressed with the setup. I'm impressed with your guys' knowledge of different things. So I'm very honored to be on.
Yeah, man, it means a lot. Like, we're 46 episodes deep. The last 3 months have been more of a technical difficulty. We've just been trying to figure out all the technical stuff, how to set up a camera, how to set up a beautiful man in a suit behind the microphone. Just all the technical stuff that it takes to set it up. So we really just want to focus on building quality content. Just to share our brief vision with most people that are watching this show is